So hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. We'll see how this goes. I'm gonna quickly milk Miss Salt and talk to you. It's very hot this afternoon on this beautiful day. We're trying to finish up all our chores and get the final garden in. It's a lot of work on that end. I want to talk to you about a few things. So I'm hearing, because I'm working, so I'm listening to videos and looking at articles as I take a quick break. And from what I understand, the United States is pretty much hitting a record high in terms of food insecurity. And that is something you need to know about. I think a lot of you, so I just washed her. Now I'm going to dry her. I think a lot of you already know this. Some of you are experiencing it. Maybe your children, a friend, co-workers are experiencing it, because it's not just about people who are living below the poverty line. It's not just about people who don't have a job. It's a lot of people in different genres. And this is something we've been warning you about. All right, so now I've wiped her down. She's cleaned up. But the question is, now I'm going to squirt. When you see me squirt, you want to give a good couple of squirts there, just to make sure you squeeze out any bacteria. That's why I do that, and I just squirted you too. So here's the deal. We talk about saving money. We talk about being debt-free. We talk about being out of debt. Like I said, we talk about saving money. But how are you in terms of food security? This is why, over the last several years especially, I have been completely hounding you to make sure that you're getting your 5 cans a week, that you are building your nest egg not just of funds for an emergency, but also that of food. Now, what can you be getting? We've talked about, how many times have we talked about this? 1.6 million. Your basic canned foods, your basic dried foods, your rice, your beans. I have a whole video showing you how to make pinto beans in a crock pot. That video was pre-pandemic. You can make basic breads, you can make basic biscuits, you can make cornbread, you can make all sorts of things. But here's the problem. People don't have enough money. They're having to borrow. Right now I'm milking her out. See how quick that goes? That's why I don't sit on a stool. You have to look at what you've got, and you have to think about the money that is required in order to do that, right? Well, the problem is a lot of people now are literally using credit cards, going into debt just to buy foods. Basic foods for families. This is a problem. That is not a sign of a good, growing, booming economy. Being in debt and being a slave to any lender of any sort is not a strong, booming economy, whether it is your personal economy or whether it is the government's economy, which is our economy. It's not theirs. Their money is our money. They work for us. And somehow a lot of people have forgotten that. All right, she's done. That's how quick that moves. Making food security right here. Do you know, girlfriend, that you are a favorite? Did you know that? You don't care? She wants out. So if you don't mind, I'm done. I'm going to sit here for just a second and we will talk. It is hot today. It's going to be very hot tomorrow. So here's the bottom line, folks. You might be doing okay right now, okay? You might be able to make your bills. You might be able to buy basic groceries and meet all of those basic needs, okay? But the reality is a lot of people around you most likely are not. They're probably not telling you. They might, I don't know. But what we do know is that credit card debt is record high. People are maxing them out. We know that the interest rates in a lot of cases are 29 and above %. That means these people are paying through their nose just for interest alone. So how would you like to know that you're maxing out your credit cards, but it's not to go on a Disney cruise? Or, you know, to go to New York, which, New York City, I love you. I've been there many times. No way would I be going to New York City right now. But my point is these people are maxing out their cards in a lot of ways for necessities. Now, I don't think going to a restaurant and buying a new dress, unless it's for something major like maybe a funeral or something, and you don't have to buy new and you don't have to buy expensive, people are maxing things out. And we're finding out that a lot of people are maxing their cards out on basic necessities, okay? Food, their bills, basic things that you may not struggle with, but like I said, people around you may be silently suffering. You know, back in 21 or so, we started seeing a lot of shortages. I think that we could very likely see shortages again, as if things don't get under control at some point. But we did see a lot of shortages after the pandemic, and again, we're always subject to that possibility as well, which I think we're still seeing some weird things. But we even said back then, you and I, we together, we discussed, you know, it's not going to necessarily be the situation of you're not getting things because they're not there. You may at some point soon find out real quick that you're not going to be able to get these things because you can no longer afford them. And we are finding out that people are making these massive decisions about their food and lifestyle because they simply cannot afford it. There's a lot of things that we have cut out because I refuse to pay the prices. It's a domino spiraling effect, right? So let's say that, you know, you have a subscription to a certain, say Netflix, for example. Well, if Netflix loses enough people over a certain time period, they may start laying off people. Then those people don't have jobs. And then as inflation continues to erupt, as we see it is not stopping, they may tell you it's slowing down. But see, this is the thing. What are your eyes? What are your ears? What are your senses? What is your bank account telling you? I mean, when you were paying 99 cents for something 2 to 3 years ago, and now it's $2.69 or more, that tells you alone, in just a very short time period, things have gone up 100% or more. Some things have gone up a dime, but other things have doubled and tripled. So this is all a domino effect, but here's what I'm telling you, and I'm going to continue to say this. Find the best route that you can find in order to continue to do what you can to put food away on the shelf, okay? And I always tell you your basic. I go with canned goods because people can typically afford a lot of that. It stores easy in a temperature-controlled environment, meaning a pantry or a bedroom or, you know, a basement or whatever. To do that, I also tell you to look at things such as the, I call it the LDS. I've made a whole video on that. I'll pin it down below, where you can buy long-term stored food. You can do it yourself. But guys, we can't be in denial about this, okay? You have to continue to do your best, and I've said this a million times as well. You have to do your best, not just for you and your family, but because I have been warning you, and we're seeing it now, there's going to be people that you know that are going to be in desperate need for help. And at the point in which they tell you or ask, or the point in which you figure it out, it might already be an extremely desperate situation. Now, again, I know a lot of people out there say, well, I've warned people and I've told them and they don't listen. I understand that. I do think that a lot of people are figuring things out, but the bottom line is who wants to watch somebody, especially if they have young children, have a really tough time putting some food on the table? You might be the saving grace on that. But here's the thing. It's going to pinch you too. We are all in this, and we have to all be making adjustments. I want to encourage you. Here we are, the 3rd week of May. I think most of you can still put vegetables in the ground of some sort, fruit or vegetables in the ground. I want to encourage you to do that, okay? If you can find a sale or a nice place that is more affordable in terms of you being able to, I know you should grow things from seed. I get that, but we're May 21st here. The reality is, you know, if you're going to do that, it's going to be something that you do for the fall. That's great if you do that. But if you can find a sale on some different types of basic tomatoes and put them in the ground, some very basic things. Here's why I'm going with tomato as my example. If you could just buy 2 or 3 husky, cherry, basic tomatoes, very easy to grow on a patio, and you do a pretty decent job with it, and they are abundant a lot of times, that's a lot of pasta sauce right there. Taking the cherry tomatoes, putting them in a simple dish, adding some cheese, putting some garlic and different things, roasting them inside of your oven, mixing it up, putting in some simple pasta. Boom, there's a fresh meal for you right there that you could eat over and over again, okay? So that way you are adding to your food supply. Yeah, it's gonna take a little a little money and energy for you to tend to that tomato plant, but here's the thing. One little pack of cherry tomatoes is going to cost you as much, potentially more, than what you may have invested in terms of growing your own cherry tomatoes. And you might come out, you buy those little like are they called cherubs or whatever they're called, little containers. That's like 1 to 2 meals, 1 to 2 salads for people. If you can grow an entire husky tomato plant, you might get 150 little tomatoes over a season. That's a lot of little tomatoes, and that can add to a lot of freshness to fresh meals. Do what you can, how you can. Don't just hang your head up and go, I'm not going to do it. Do something, a couple tomato plants, maybe a pepper plant, a row of this, or just a simple row of that, to completely supplement what you're already doing, okay? To supplement your pinto beans and cornbread and mashed potatoes, okay? That was the staple at our house 24/7 at my Nana's house. All of my grandmother's house, pinto beans, cornbread, and mashed potatoes. Not rice, mashed potatoes. And my Nana didn't even like mashed potatoes, but she made them all day long because they could afford it. So, inflation is not going away. I have another video that's coming up. I haven't been able to sit and I want to do more math with it and try to figure out comparing some numbers. And I'm also going to tell you that I've been back to Aldi and I added to my list. We're going to be really serious about keeping up with prices because you have a lot of companies that are coming out saying, oh, well, we're going to slash prices. So you have Aldi saying that. Now you've got Target saying that. We'll talk more about that. Now you've got McDonald's trying to lure people back for that $5 deal that they're trying to do, whatever. I get it. The bottom line is people are hurting. People can't afford food. Now companies are figuring out, we better get ahead of this, or we're already behind, if you will, because of inflation. People can't spend money, and when they do spend money, they're spending it on food because it's so expensive. You know as well as I do that you could go to X and for $100 you'd get a week or 2 weeks worth of groceries. Now you come out with 2 bags. It's ridiculous. I know. Believe me, we're in that world too. We understand it completely. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about this, but this is in my world. I don't show butchering. That's just not something I'm comfortable with. It's very private and emotional and a spiritual thing in my opinion. But I will tell you, I'm making some decisions around here because I'm trying to stay ahead of the storm. So the next round of rabbits at some point are probably going to go in the freezer. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm just not going to expand on that because that's a private thing for our farm. But clearly you understand that if you have a homestead or you watch us and we have a farm or homestead, clearly we want the eggs, we want the milk, we want the manure, and on occasions, depending on the creature, the meat isn't too shabby as well because it's getting so expensive. And if I'm going to be buying the feed and putting in the time, we have to be able to get a return. That is just the way the life is in terms of this lifestyle. It's going to be the same thing even if it's just a tomato plant. If you buy the tomato plant, grow the tomato plant, plant the tomato plant, and you take care of it, you're hoping that you're going to have a return on that to help soften your finances or your food bill. Same situation with that as well. Bottom line, they're lying to you about the economy. I've told you that a million times. I don't have to tell you because you guys are smarter than me. You already know that. And it's not getting any better. And I'm going to say this again because today it came out just a couple of hours ago that it's looking like our grand diaper in chief is going to be releasing. I saw it on the Gateway Pundit. You can verify it yourself. It does appear that he is looking to release another million barrels of oil from the Strategic Oil Reserve. Isn't that great? I think that's wonderful. It's an election year. It's a selection year. You should expect all shenanigans. But the one thing that you should definitely expect is no one's coming to save you in terms of doing the best that you can to buy your food and raise your food, okay? Even if you are getting some assistance in some ways, I understand from many of your comments, it's not enough anymore, now is it? It's tough. It's really, really tough. And we have to find ways to continue to be creative, right? I know. Well, guys, like, subscribe, and share. I'll have that inflation video coming up, hopefully either tomorrow or the next day. We are busting our rears, trying to finish up everything around the gardens. I just want it done by tomorrow. That was my goal. We're going to hit it. And so I do expect for a video to be there, but it might be late. That's why I'm a little bit off on my schedule. Guys, keep doing what you're doing. Don't take a sale for granted. Don't take an opportunity for granted. Don't take the opportunity to share and witness to someone for granted. You have been placed in a position, whether you like it or not, to see something about people in terms of their need and to help them out. You've been placed there for a reason. Accept that and go with it. You will be blessed tenfold. I fully believe that. So take the opportunities. There's a lot of you out there that already do that, and I know you're going to be blessed for it. And you bless me every single day, and I want to thank you. Well, guys, I got to finish the turkeys up. And speaking of, I have a turkey in the crock pot. So another turkey breast. So that's what we're having. Pulled it from the freezer. That's what we're going to be doing. So be working with what you've got. Be going through your freezers. Be going through your pantry. How can you stretch something? We've talked about that. How can you make it into something else? We've talked about that. Go basic. Okay? Go basic. We always feel like we have to have all these extravagant meals in this day and age. That is not true at all. Basic is exactly what pulled your grandmothers through. It's going to be the exact same thing that pull you through. Okay? Do what it takes. I know it's in you. Like, subscribe, and share. Hope you're having a great evening and getting a lot of things done right before Memorial Day coming up this weekend. And guys, remember those that gave the ultimate for me and you. I know times are tough. I know things have changed, and I know that a lot of times we get upset with how things are going here in the United States. I get extremely frustrated, angry, upset often. We have to remember those that went before us, guys. That's what Memorial Day is all about. The beautiful men and women of this country that paid the ultimate sacrifice all through the years so you and I can just sit here and chat. That's what they did. That's what they fought for. May not be what you feel anything is being fought for today, or you may feel that they were cheated. Maybe. But they did it anyway, didn't they? And we're not going to let them down. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. I love you. Stay cool. Probably have dirt on me. I don't care. I don't care. I'll see you in the next video.